What's up guys, XM360 here, and in today's video I'm bringing you guys a laser review that a lot of people have been asking for and recommending in the comments section. I'm finally reviewing a Sanwu laser. So Sanwu is a laser company that sells laser pointers, and they come pretty highly recommended on laserpointerforums.com. So I figured I'd reach out to them and talk about the possibility of doing a review of one of their products, and they sent me out a couple of lasers to do reviews on. So the first one I'm doing a review on here is their 445 nanometer blue 500 milliwatt pocket series laser pointer. So this laser sells on their website for about $90. It has one single mode, it has an adjustable focus, and it has a push on push off button. And they advertise their pocket series of lasers as the smallest handheld lasers in the world. And they also, some more information on it, it weighs about 40 grams, it's solid metal. You can get some other lenses for it too. You can get a G2 lens or a G7 lens. The standard lens that comes with it, I believe, is a 3-element lens. And this little description right here, which you can find on their website, basically simplifies the differences between these three lenses, with the 3-element lens kind of combining a tight beam with a pretty good beam efficiency, but the G2 lens gives you the highest efficiency, which means the highest milliwatt rating, the highest power, but the beam divergence is wider with this one. And then the G7 lens gives you 88% efficiency with a tighter beam profile, and the standard 3-element lens gives you 70% efficiency. So if you were working with a 1-watt diode, the 3-element lens would give you 700 milliwatts, the G2 lens would give you about 950 milliwatts, and the G7 would give you about 880 milliwatts of power. So in this video I'm just working with the standard 3-element lens that comes with this laser. So some quick things I wanted to mention before I get into this. The body is stainless steel with a 10mm copper heatsink. The battery this takes is 110-440 lithium ion battery. The duty cycle on this laser is advertised as 40 seconds on and off, and the laser comes with a 1-year warranty. Now, I'm pretty sure the battery is included, but the charger is not. The website lists the battery charger, a dual lithium ion battery charger, for an additional $18. And this is the laser itself. My first impression is that it feels very heavy and solid, with a very sturdy metal construction, and it is very, very small, a lot smaller than I even imagined. It's very tiny, and it definitely earns the name pocket. The lens is right on the top there, and then on the very bottom is the push button, and you would just unscrew the very bottom to insert the battery. And one thing that I think is worth mentioning is that Sanwu Lasers is based in China. The laser ships from China, so shipping times might be a bit longer. And also the instructions I got were in Chinese, so they weren't that helpful really, but I managed how to figure everything out anyway. And you just insert the battery with the positive end facing the lens and the negative end facing the back of the laser. And the batteries I am using here are straight out of the box. They have not been charged yet, so I'm not sure if they already have somewhat of a charge on them, but we will test that out in just a moment. So the battery is somewhat charged. I am seeing a little blue dot right here, and the laser is functioning. I'm not going to try to use the laser too much right here because I don't want to burn this table or anything, but I want to mention one other very, very important thing that is not included with this is laser safety glasses. You need a pair of laser safety glasses to use this, and I'll link a very good pair in the video description below. Sunglasses won't work, so make sure you get a pair of laser glasses. And if you unscrew the very top of the laser, you can do the adjustable focus. That's how you focus it in and out, and if you unscrew it all the way, that's how you can get access to the inside of the top of the laser, which will let you switch out those lenses for a G2 or a G7 lens. So I'm going to move on to testing out the laser in some different scenarios here, and I'm starting off with the adjustable focus. And by twisting the very top of the laser, I can focus in the laser so that At a couple of feet away, the dot is very large, but a couple inches away from the end of the laser, I've created a little X, like a focal point, where the beam goes from wide to its very thinnest point and then back out to wide again. And at that very thinnest point, you'll have the smallest dot, and you'll have the best burning at that very small dot because the light is most focused there. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like in a normal indoor setting here, and I'm aiming it at a brick fireplace so I don't run the risk of burning any of my walls. The beam is quite visible even from the side, and the dot is extremely bright, and I am using my laser safety glasses. I'm going to move on to an outdoor setting at midday now, and the climate around here has been very wet and rainy, so none of this brush is dry by any means, so I don't run the risk of starting any forest fires. And even in this lighting level, if I'm looking directly down the axis of the laser, I can still slightly see the beam in broad daylight, and that dot is extremely bright and visible even at a couple of 100 feet away. And you'll notice as that dot gets further and further away, you can start to see the rectangle shape more. With these high-powered blue lasers, they generate a rectangular dot, not a circular dot, so it is supposed to look like that. And I'm going to move on to a nighttime setting now, and this is where you're obviously going to get the best results. The beam is extremely visible, and so is that dot. They're very bright, and they look like a lightsaber. And this is where you got to be really careful because people will notice this right away. It's very bright and very it draws attention. So try to keep your laser within the confines of your property. You know, don't point it in your neighbors' yards or at their houses. And when you're pointing it at the sky, be very careful that there's no planes or any air vehicles in the vicinity that you're pointing it. So I'm now going to move on to the power test with my Laserbe A LPM. And I will speed things up for you guys a bit so that you do not have to wait through the whole power test. The first power test generated about 720 milliwatts. And test number 2 gave me a rating of about 705 milliwatts, maybe closer to 710. So cutting the difference, we'll say about 715 milliwatts for a power on this one, and that is with the 3-element lens. So with that being said, and with the 3-element lens working at about 70% efficiency, it's safe to say that the diode in this laser is about 1 watt. And of course I'm going to be doing a little bit of burning with this one too. So I have some red top matches here, and it lights these guys up in about a second, maybe 2 seconds on some of them, pretty quick. And I do have a stone backdrop where the laser is aiming to so that it doesn't burn my wall. I have a sink full of water to drop all of the burned items, and I'm wearing my laser safety glasses. So next up, I'm going to do a little bit of black electric tape, and I'm going to see if I can cut right through it. And as you can see, the laser makes short work of that, and it goes through it in just a couple of seconds, which is pretty cool. I also have a little green balloon right here, and it just pops that instantly. Next up, I have a small piece of magazine paper, and a section of it is somewhat dark and black. But I don't think this is going to light on fire because it's more of like a waxy type of paper. It's not like dry like newspaper. It's definitely smoking up a lot and burning like little holes in it. But it's not generating any red embers or flames, which I kind of thought might be the case. And the last thing I'm going to burn here is going to be a plastic CD case. A black plastic CD case. So I'm just going to set it right in front of the focal point. And right away it's generating some smoke, and within a couple of seconds it burned a hole straight through it. So that just goes to show you the power of this little tiny laser. So I'm going to use this to move on to the reviewing aspect of this now. And honestly, I was very impressed with this laser. The build and the quality of it was very high quality, very solid feeling, and very nice. And it's amazing how powerful such a small laser can be. As far as the power to size ratio goes, this must have the best ratio out of any laser that I've ever tested. And the things that you see to the right here, these are just some other things that were included. 2 little cleaning cloths and a little pouch that you can keep it in, and then the little battery. And yeah, I love this laser. The beam was well aligned, the dot was nice and tight, and there's a lot of customization options for Sanwu lasers, and I did have one kind of like an issue with it. The duty cycle is definitely recommended to be 40 maximum in my opinion, because this one gets warm very quickly. Even after using it for like maybe 25 to 30 seconds straight when doing the LPM test and the burning tests, you can feel towards like the top half of the laser, it gets physically warm very quick. When you start pushing it to like 40 seconds, it starts to get very warm and you start to worry that you might burn something out. So because this laser is so tiny and everything's packed into such a small host, there's not a lot of ability to distribute heat in this one, and it heats up very, very quickly. While it is the smallest laser I've owned, it also has the most demanding and short duty cycle out of any laser I've owned, and that's not a huge problem for me, because I knew that going into it that was going to be the case because it's such a small laser and there's not really anywhere for the heat to go. But I did want to make you guys aware that the duty cycle on this one is pretty serious. So if you were looking for a laser that you wanted to keep on for like long periods of time, like a minute or two, and really do some stargazing with it and stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend this one as much, because this one I feel can't really be left on for long periods of time. Like I said, 25 to 30 seconds is the duty cycle that I felt comfortable with because of how warm it gets. But besides that, there's really nothing negative I can say about this laser. It was very solid and well built. It was over 200 milliwatts over spec, and I really liked it a lot, and it was very impressive. And if you were looking for a laser from Sanwu Lasers to add to your collection, I would definitely recommend this one. And I would give this one like an 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. So if you guys found this review helpful in any way at all, hit that like button down below. And if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button for more amazing laser videos just like this. And as always guys, thank you for watching from XM360.